All right, everybody, welcome to the HB Half Hour. I am the Honest Bachelor. We got a great show for you guys. With us in the studio right now in the back, we've got James. They recently rebranded on Instagram, James Blackman. What happened to your Instagram?
It's under Amos Blackman now, A-M-O-S Blackman, B-L-A-C-K-M-O-N, _. I have no idea what happened to my Instagram. I'm still fighting for it.
Didn't you post a bunch of nudes or something like that?
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was a dick pic, so I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, don't do that.
Like a legit reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I've gotten banned several times on Periscope, but for the most part, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made love to a blow-up doll at one point, and then another time I played some gay porn, but it was all censored, so, but I get it. I understand why it happened. Okay, so the topics this week are history, opinion, news, entertaining stuff, not so much entertainment like Hollywood, sports, and then lastly, Trump. You'll notice that those topics spell out the word honest, because here at the HB Half Hour, we're trying to put an end to fake news by being super honest. Just kidding. It's just, I liked it that way. It was easier to pick topics if I have a general theme to stick to. We went a whole week, actually, without talking about Trump.
Yeah.
That deserves some sort of congratulations. That's a pretty amazing thing to do. Yeah.
Fireworks go off in post.
Exactly. If you want to make it on YouTube, you need to bash Trump. That's how you do it. That's how you get not demonetized, whatever. That's how you get monetized. That's how you make sure you don't get banned. We're actually not going to be bashing Trump. Some funny things just happen to happen, so we're going to talk about it. Last little thing, we are in a garage. So I hear a helicopter right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. If we are hoping to get out of the garage, we do need your guys' help. So down at the bottom, there's going to be funding options. So there's Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We even accept Bitcoin, which is going down by the day. So if you want to send us any of those things to get us out of the garage and into the studio, that would be awesome. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the first topic is history. June 12th, 1994. Not that long ago, but O.J. Simpson allegedly murdered Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. The verdict actually came down in October 1995, which it really doesn't seem that long ago. I think I was like 6.
I was 5.
Do you remember it? You were 5?
Also, no,
you were born in 89? 90?
90, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was born in 88.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I remember the verdict happening. Like everybody around me, they were in like big white gowns, and they had like these big white party hats on that they threw down on the ground in disgust. No, just kidding. Jokes aside, the trial was, this is my opinion, but it was less about O.J. being innocent or guilty, and I think it was more about what was going on at the time. Rodney King had just gotten his ass beat by the cops, and the cops got off scot-free. And so things were very, very divided, more so than now, despite what people would have you believe. And O.J., I think, was just really the lucky recipient of just what was going on at the time. It was retribution for the black community in L.A. and the rest of the United States.
About time, goddammit.
I have to ask James, do you think that O.J. is guilty?
On the behalf of all black people, because I always find myself speaking on the behalf of all black people.
Weird how that works.
Yeah.
I've never had to do that. You think you did it?
I think it.
Yeah, me too.
From the evidence now, you look back at it and you're like, oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah. Well, they did do a poll after the verdict in 1995, and they found that 71% of black respondents said that they thought he was innocent.
At the time?
Yeah, at the time. And then 72% of white respondents said that he was guilty. So it really was a black and white thing. Like
of course.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with whether people thought he was actually innocent. It was more the injustices that were happening. Those numbers have actually changed dramatically over time. Right now, only 40% of black respondents believe that he's innocent, and 74% of white respondents think he's guilty. So white people are about the same, and then black people have gone a different direction. But I think it's has a lot to do with how OJ kind of behaved afterwards.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, if he would have just been a normal dude, it would have been all gravy, dog. It'd probably be like 100% everyone. Like, you know what? Maybe he didn't do it.
Right. Well, it doesn't help when, like, he pretended that he was going to go on some chase to find the killer or whatever, and nothing came of that. Nothing at all.
He wrote a book, said, "If I did it."
Yeah.
No,
we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about why. We'll talk about that in just a second. But why would you do that?
I don't know.
Like, who's that helping? And then, like, he lost a civil case to Ron Goldman's family that basically said that he was responsible for Ron Goldman's murder. They couldn't try him for Nicole Brown Simpson's at the time. And then he was arrested. He was put in jail for quite a while because he tried to steal some of his stuff back that was taken from him and then was being sold in Vegas. So because of those things, I think that also pushed things in a different direction. There's this video, and it just recently got released. It's been known about for a while, but they couldn't show it at the time for whatever reason. Maybe they're just trying to milk it for money. I don't really know.
Probably.
Yeah. And I'm going to play it for you right now. And it's a video in which OJ basically confesses.
This guy kind of got into a karate thing. And I said, well, you think you can kick my ass? And I remember I grabbed a knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember. Except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around and
What kind of stuff?
blood and stuff around. You know,
Wait.
Did you hear this whole thing?
Yeah, what?
So basically he's saying, he's switching back from the hypothetical tense to like first person, remembering it, being like, yeah, I remember Nicole was standing there about 320 degrees west and 6 degrees north, and this is all hypothetical, by the way. And then I went up to her and I stabbed her in the throat, and man, there was a lot. There's so much blood. It was disgusting. There's a ton of blood. I had to wash myself for hours. Hypothetically. Yeah, this is hypothetical. Of course it's a hypothetical. Does he know what hypothetical means?
Dude.
The amount of detail that he goes in, and the fact that he says, I remember doing this and doing that, it would be one thing if you're saying, I remember writing in the book, blank, blank, and blank.
But it just been so much hype over it in the last 2 years. I always wondered, like, why are they making so many? Remember the OJ story?
Yeah.
They had two shows, one movie on OJ in the last 2.5 years.
It's a reality show. That's what they realize. It's a reality show. And honestly, and I had some whole bit that I did about this at one point. OJ Simpson is responsible for the Kardashians.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the reason why we even know who the Kardashians are now is because of the OJ case. Rob Kardashian's dad was one of the lawyers on the trial. And then also, like, just take the Kardashians out of it. The Kardashians probably still would have existed because that's when the news discovered, oh my God, people will sit down for 24 hours a day and watch a 24-hour news cycle.
Yep.
What's the difference between that and a reality show?
Yeah, no,
we can script the whole thing. I mean, we can do this. And so then they tried it out, and the Kardashians being in the center of it definitely led to them becoming a reality family. They were already used to that all the time. And then, I mean, Kim made a sex tape, and she was already somewhat famous.
Game over after that. And then, you know, even with Jenner, their mom.
Chris, yes.
When she hooked up with OJ, she was hooking up with him for a bit.
Right.
And then her husband's defending him.
Yeah, and they suspect that Kourtney's actually OJ's daughter. And if you look at pictures, I'll put up a picture of Kourtney Kardashian and OJ's actual daughter.
Yeah, I know.
They look very, very similar.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, Kim's like 5'1" and Kourtney's like 7'6".
Yeah.
So I mean, whenever I think about OJ, I'm like, I mean, that sucks that he killed some people, but him for the Kardashians. Like, that's really where I stand with it. Like, I'm just really angry. Okay, now we're moving on to opinion. So for opinion, let me just ask you, James, introduce yourself. Like, if you were to describe yourself to somebody, how would you do it?
James Amos Blackman. Do comedy, write. I'm an actor, bartend, tricks of all trade. funny guy.
You notice in there, nowhere did James mention his race or his sexuality. My point is that a lot of people, it seems like the most interesting thing about them is their race or their sexuality, when in reality, it's the most boring detail about you. Like, who cares? And I know this is going to sound, there's going to be somebody on here that's like, that's your white privilege talking. You're only able to have that luxury because of your white privilege.
Well, me being a black male in America, I'm very aware of my race.
Yeah.
I don't introduce myself as that because I feel like it's apparent. If you're gay, we're not necessarily going to know, but again, who cares?
Why is who you sleep with so important? Like the black athletes that have come out and been
basketball player. This topic right here, man, it's one of those things where I strongly do not give two bleeps about what people are doing in the badge. Hi, my name is James. I love oral.
Yeah, well, to me, that's what that says. Like when someone's like, I'm pansexual. People are introducing themselves as pansexual, which basically means anything. Yeah, that's what it means.
And essentially, it's just like, cool, man. That's great to know. Like, I get I want to play devil's advocate here. I do get someone like, well, it's not what makes me up, but it has defined who I am. It's like understandably so. Like, growing up poor has made me who I am, but I don't say, hi, I'm James, I'm poor.
Yeah. It's like that's a great point. So basically, if you're acknowledging what has been hard for you to overcome, you're letting it continue to overcome you in a way, because you're saying, I am gay and that's been tough for me, and I need you to know things have been tough for me. And I also think, honestly, that it's meant as some sort of leverage over you in an argument to say, I'm gay. So if you have anything to say to me, just know that part of the reason why you're not able to disagree with me is because you haven't gone through exactly what I've gone through, which is ridiculous. But just to expand on this, it's just boring to know anyways, and it's completely unnecessary. And honestly, like with the sexuality portion, it's kind of inappropriate.
That has always been one of my biggest pet peeves, man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. When I just see it in the news so much. You see it in TV shows and movies of just people just constantly talking about their sexuality, and I'm just like, yo, that's dope, man. That's cool, but why does that always have to be the topic of conversation?
Well, my name is Honest Bachelor, and I'm into having sex with people's feet. Just needed you to know that.
And my name is James. I'm half Christian, half black, and I love to have butt sex.
But you're receiving it, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know immediately some of the responses that are going to be for this is it's like...
neither of you are gay. I can speak on the behalf of gay people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're not speaking on the behalf of what we're saying is we don't care, and you shouldn't either.
And also what we're saying is that we are two straight men who just don't get it. Help us understand. That's what the world's about, right?
Yeah, sure.
Conversations like this.
Give us some education. But that's just, again, this is the opinion piece. So one thing to understand about the opinion piece is it's not right or wrong. It's just an opinion. Okay, we're going to be moving on to the next segment. This is news. And then the next part is kind of news as well, but it's more fun news. Stephen Hawking died. So Stephen Hawking, he died peacefully at his home in Cambridge in the early hours of Wednesday. So that would be last night, this morning. I guess the UK is like 9 hours ahead. Yeah. The British scientist was famed for his work with black holes and relativity, and wrote several popular science books, including A Brief History of Time. I'm less interested in that kind of stuff and more interested in the more unusual things about Stephen Hawking. So he was married twice, kind of a playboy. He's rumored to have cheated on his second wife, actually.
And I can't even get a text back.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, how?
What's going on there?
Speaking of his second wife, it's also rumored that she used to beat his ass. Yeah, he'd have all sorts of weird, mysterious injuries and stuff. And one time he had a broken wrist, and the dude can't move. So, yeah, she would, like, beat him up. She was also very jealous. Both his wives were very, very jealous of the fame that he had, and he was also kind of a fame whore. He loved to be in front of the camera. He like guest starred on The Simpsons, whatever that means. And then he'd make all sorts of speeches and stuff like that. His first wife left him because of the fame, like I mentioned, and then his second wife, I think it mostly had to do with the cheating or whatever it was, and just the general turmoil of the relationship. He was actually an average student, below average in some cases. He actually had to get his grades up to be average. He wasn't that good at school, which just kind of goes to show, like, school's not everything.
School is...
it's not for everybody.
That's going to be a topic of next week. We should do S for schooling, please.
Oh, I mean, I can talk about that for forever. I went to college and then beyond, and yeah, we can talk about that for quite a while. Oh, and for those of you that are average students, I'm not saying that you're not a dumbass. You could still be a dumbass. I'm just saying, they're like, oh my God, he was an average student. Maybe I'm not stupid. It's like, no, dude, you're probably still stupid. I'm just saying that not everyone who doesn't succeed in school is stupid. He was diagnosed with ALS, so those of you that were dumping water on your head, that's why you were doing it. For it's also known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
It wasn't just for Facebook or Instagram video.
Yeah, not just to get likes. Yeah, it wasn't just to get likes. He was only given 2 to 3 years to live after he was diagnosed with ALS, and then he lived 52, 53 years beyond that.
Shows you that education isn't everything.
Yeah, doctors.
Dumb doctor.
Yeah, idiot.
Such a loser, bro.
He believes in aliens. And again, that doesn't, like, if you believe in aliens too, that doesn't mean that you're some sort of genius. He believed in it based on probably a lot more knowledge. Yeah.
I absolutely believe in aliens. It'd be naive to believe in this entire universe, in our galaxy, that we're the only life form. It doesn't, mathematically, it doesn't make sense.
Let's see. He used to get a ton of death threats from religious groups because everything that he believed kind of challenged the existence, really, of the fundamentalist religious groups, not the people who are open to the idea of stuff that they don't know, that not everything's in the Bible or Quran or whatever.
The Bible Belt actually banned him for a while.
Yeah, they're not a big fan of him. I thought this was funny. His computer uses an American accent. He's British, and they said, hey, you know, now we can do it in a British accent. And he said, nah, it's part of my trademark now. So he decided just to keep it that way.
That's funny.
So, okay, now on to the fun stuff. So this is entertaining stuff. Not entertainment necessarily, but entertaining stuff. So in Japan, they invented these jetpacks that are designed to help you jump higher. So if you need to reach something, it kind of like slowly lifts you up, and then you can, I don't know, water some really high flower.
Of course they made that in Japan.
I thought it would be, I was actually surprised white people didn't invent it, to be honest, like to be better at basketball.
You guys are a little bit taller, though. Japanese people.
That's actually very true, very true. Okay, this is my favorite story. So a 45-year-old Oklahoma mom, she married her 26-year-old daughter.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so a 45-year-old Oklahoma mom married her 26-year-old daughter. Now, people across the United States are horrified and disgusted. But people in Oklahoma are like, I don't get it. What's the news? I don't understand. Is she like ugly or something? Like, is her daughter ugly? Is the age gap too much?
You put the picture up there. You put the picture up there.
Yeah.
I want to see a picture.
Yes, so she married her daughter after they, quote, hit it off.
What the?
Yeah. We have so much in common.
Yeah, you're my mom.
Yeah. Including half of your blood, like
you're my mom.
Half of your DNA. So the mother and daughter got married in March 2016 after they reunited in 2014. Patricia had lost custody of Misty years before, but then, yeah, they hit it off after reuniting. Span said she thought the marriage to her daughter was legal because she lost custody of her and her 2 sons years ago, and they weren't listed on their birth certificates. This is where it gets weirder. Prosecutors said Span also married one of her sons in 2008, but the marriage was annulled in 2010 due to incest. No So James just has a shocked look on his face. Span was sentenced to 2 years in prison and was also sentenced to 8 years of probation and then fined a whopping $1,500. My guess is someone that's marrying their daughters and sons probably doesn't have $1,500, so maybe that was an enormous amount to her.
People say, James, why do you go on stage and make so many white jokes? And it's just handed to me on a platter.
Here, let me use an anecdote to emphasize your point. I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna leave out the race and the gender of the person that this story belongs to. Man celebrates Super Bowl victory by eating a pile of horse.
White dude. I'm an Eagles fan, baby.
You know damn well that's not a woman, and you know it's not. Can you imagine? Can you picture an Asian dude eating a pile of shit?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, sorry. Let's try that again. Can you? I guess a better question would be: could you picture even a white chick eating a pile of?
No, we'll do that. No.
Hell no. So Heather Locklear was arrested. Did you hear about this?
Who's that? Heather
Locklear is like this hot blonde actress. She's like 50 years old at this point. But yeah, so Heather Locklear was arrested. She, I guess when she was arrested, it was because of some sort of domestic dispute. And the cops came and arrested her, and she said, "I hope that your children die." Like, she screamed at him. And the whole fight in the first place started because she threw a can of Red Bull at her husband. And then Red Bull contacted her after seeing the bruises, and they're like, "Oh my God, we found our new spokesperson." No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no way! I was like, what?
No, that would be amazing, though. All right, so we're on to sports. This first part's less about sports itself and more about just a particular sports figure. Have you heard of Adam Rippon?
No.
So Adam Rippon is the first openly gay Olympian to win a medal. And this harkens back to our opinion section there.
Snowboarder or skier?
He was a figure skater, and see, that's the funny part about it. I thought that if you're a male figure skater, that you being gay was just kind of assumed.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that? It's like, yeah, the hardest part about figure skating is having to tell everyone you're gay. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so he's getting all this attention for being, supposedly for being the first openly gay figure skater / Olympian.
Other figure skaters are like, that's such BS.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the reality is the reason why he's famous is because he spoke out against Mike Pence. Like I said at the beginning of this, I was like, if you want to be famous on YouTube, if you want to do well on YouTube, just bash Trump, right? Yeah. I mean, the same thing goes for Mike Pence. So this guy gets all this attention because he said, "I don't like Mike Pence." Well, I looked into this. Have you heard that Mike Pence wants to do like shock therapy on gay people?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
No, I looked into it. It's completely false. So Snopes, which is actually a left-leaning fact-checking site, so what he said was he once supported the use of federal funding to treat people that are seeking to change their sexual behavior. So for people that want to change their sexual behavior, he supports federal funding for those programs. What he never said was that he supported the use of electric shocks or gay conversion therapy. And so there's a whole origin story of how this came about and how they basically obfuscated what he actually said. And it turned into this massive thing where Mike Pence is this crazy anti-gay thing, and it stuck because he's a fundamentalist Christian. And so people just assumed, oh yeah, and I mean, look at him. It's like, yeah, that probably is something that he would believe in. And the people trying to say that he's famous for, Adam Rippon is famous for his skating, the dude finished 10th place. Like he got the bronze in like the team event, but he finished in 10th place. And it just kind of goes to show that like all you have to do to gain any sort of attention is just be as against Donald Trump as possible, and you'll get the attention that you want. All right, we're moving on to the very last subject, the fun stuff. Trump. T for Trump. Okay, so Trump is meeting with Kim Jong-un. This is interesting. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about it a lot. Let me get your thoughts first off. What do you think about Donald Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un? And then I'll tell you what I think.
I know a lot of people think it's bad because it's those Koreans getting what they want again, more aid, more money, and it's bad. We're just going to come there. There's going to be a lot of talk while they're still building up their missiles because they're not going to deconstruct or stop doing. They're just,
Oh, well, I think, okay, there's a caveat. They are going to stop in the leading up to the talk.
Yeah.
And then they'll stop for a little bit. Let me just go into my whole thought here.
Yeah.
So, what do each of them stand to gain? That's the question that you have to ask. So Donald Trump is an egomaniac. Donald Trump wants to be seen as a great president. A great way to do that would be to denuclearize North Korea, right? That would be awesome. That'd be a huge achievement.
Yeah.
And so he's going into it for an ego boost. That's what it's going on. That's a very dangerous thing in negotiation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because like you aren't going to win in that. You're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un, North Korea is just looking to be legitimate, and Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il and then his father, I think Kim Il-sung.
Yeah.
They're like a family legacy, and they've been trying to be relevant in the world for a very long time now.
Yeah.
What better way to make them relevant than for Donald Trump to come and visit the leader of the free world?
Yeah.
And make them look as relevant as possible. I think it's a terrible idea for that. I do think that they will denuclearize for a given extent. And then they're going to be like, oh, no, we couldn't help ourselves. We're making missiles again. Make us stop. More aid, more food. And then we're just going to go through this cycle over and over and over again. But Donald Trump will get what he wants in the short term.
Of course.
The ego
short
boost.
game, yeah.
Yeah. And then they'll stop making their missiles for a little bit, but who cares?
America will bathe in fire.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, one thing is, so I was thinking if this does go badly, well, then at least we have Donald Trump to like shoot some paper towels into the crowd at the end.
Yeah.
When all the wreckage is cleared, he'll shoot some paper towels into the crowd.
Dude, everything that we're doing with this guy is just so awkward. Just watch.
That's funny you say that. So this next thing. So Donald Trump, I'll just play the video. This is too funny. So Donald Trump is at the Steelworkers Union. It's some sort of meeting about the tariffs on steel and aluminum. Well, this happened.
Well, your father, Herman, is looking down. He's very proud of you right now.
He's still alive.
Oh, he is? Well, then he's even more proud of you.
Dude! This mofo is awkward.
It's so great. It's too funny. Last thing. So Rex Tillerson was fired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But here's the best part about it. He didn't know, like Donald Trump didn't call him. Rex Tillerson found out on Twitter.
Oh,
And
of course he
Yeah, he found out on Twitter. And so here's the tweet. Mike Pompeo, director of the CIA, will become our new Secretary of State. He will do a fantastic job. Thank you to Rex Tillerson for his service. Gina Haspel will become the new director of the CIA and the first woman so chosen. Congratulations to all. Rex Tillerson's like, what the do you mean congratulations to all, you asshole? That's how he finds out. That's how he found out he was fired.
Oh my God.
Congratulations to all. And like, this isn't an unknown thing. They didn't get along. That's actually very well known. So Donald Trump didn't call Rex Tillerson until 3 hours later from Air Force One. And so by the time Donald Trump called, he's like, yeah, I know, dude. Like, what the hell? You asshole. I know I'm fired.
Yeah.
You told me on goddamn Twitter. And, you know, I don't want this to be like we're just piling on Donald Trump again. Like I said, like some of these things, they just
write themselves.
Yeah, I'm not writing anything. We're just talking about it, and it just happens to be funny. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the HB Half Hour. Next week, I'm sure James will be here unless you're going to be out of town.
I'll be here. I'll be back on Sunday.
Hey, all right, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you follow James on his social media, Amos Blackman, until his other one comes back. Follow me all across social media at The Honest Bachelor on pretty much everything. And next week, hopefully Periscope works and you're able to be a part of the live audience on Periscope. Follow me at The Honest Bachelor on Periscope. Stay in your home. This is your home. What's that? Can you twerk? I think that shirt is going to be...
I know. But good thing that we're not doing it. Oh.
That would be even better, dude.
I looked at it.
That's super funny.